Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and this is day 38 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on gratitude. Um, Something I'm currently struggling with, which I keep thinking, the further I get into this, the easier it's going to be and the better I'm going to feel. And I've had some really good days where I felt really good and been excited and motivated and just doing things and then wanting to do better. And this week, I've just been really struggling to be motivated, to get out of bed, to go do things, and just finding myself easily discouraged again. And yet, when I journal, when I do my gratitude videos, I feel better, I get uplifted, but there's still that crazy, insane part of me, that old thinking of mine that I don't know, for some reason wants to wallow in my misery for some unknown reason. Or, just wants to prove that I have a right to be miserable or something, or that life is unfair, which, I mean, life is unfair. And yes, I have to do things for myself. And I'm struggling with some things right now. I need to make some changes. I need to do some things. And I feel like it's someone else's responsibility to do them, but they're not going to get done if I don't do it myself, which is very frustrating to me. And I realize that part of me is just not choosing to do those things because I feel like it's someone else's responsibility, or because I don't like the situation without those things being done. And I'm not really in a situation where I can do it, but in order for me to feel comfortable, at peace, to have what I need to figure out how to take care of these things. So it's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for me to also realize that not having these things done is having a negative impact on me and how I feel about myself. Kind of like if someone else doesn't care enough to do these things they said they were going to do, or to make things the way they're supposed to be, then, like, they don't care about me. And if they don't care about me, why should I care about me? And I think that's the old stinking thinking that I need to get away from, is that just because I feel like other people don't care about me doesn't mean that I don't need to care about me. And just because I have to do something if I want it done, even if it's not necessarily my responsibility, um, if I want it done or I need it done for me, then I can do it. And it's not going to necessarily be stepping on someone else's toes. I basically have permission to do it myself. I just don't have the ability to do it myself. So I'm going to have to pay someone to do it for me, or come up with the money to do it. And that's just an added expense that I don't like having to come up with. And what I'm already behind on my finances because I've been depressed and discouraged. And when I'm depressed and avoiding my life, that includes avoiding paying my bills, and it avoids going to work and making money. So I've got myself in this mess, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all of those things, mentally, socially. I'm a mess. Physically, I'm a mess. And focusing on gratitude for 38 days isn't going to undo or fix all of those things, which is an unrealistic expectation on my part, thinking, oh, if I do all of this, then all of my problems will go away and I will be all better and everything will just be okay. And when it's not all better and it's not okay, and I'm not making the money I need to, or I'm not caught up on things, I have to face things I don't want to face, I have to deal with things that are going to cost me more money that I don't have in order to be comfortable or feel safe. These are things that I need to do for me. But they're things that are difficult for me. And I realize they're difficult for me. And I realize I have choices. I can continue to live the way that I am, which will probably continue to feed my depression, or I can make the best of the situation that I'm in, which is going to cost me some money, but I have to remember that I'm worth it and that I can do this and that God will help me do this. And I'm grateful for that. And, I was struggling with some other things yesterday too, and today, and I just unsolicited advice, I guess, is one good word for it. And another is, people have differences of opinions, and their opinions sometimes affect my life. And I can choose to agree or disagree, and I can choose to be offended or not be offended. And today I was reading my scriptures and meditationals, and I was doing some writing, and I've been thinking about it. I'm like, my focus is distorted. I get distracted quite easily, and oftentimes I focus on the wrong things. I focus on the money. I focus on the fame if I ever get my books published. I focus on outside responses, expecting other people to do for me what I'm capable of doing for myself, and then getting frustrated about it. Or doing what I feel comfortable or what I think is right, and then having people be angry at me because they disagree with my way of doing things. And I don't like having other rules and other people's things imposed on me, especially without my opinion, my say-so, my whatever. It's frustrating to me. It's a trigger for me. And I realize that as long as I'm focusing on all those things that aren't going well for me, again, that negativity, that depression, the lack of motivation, they all just come right in. And the only way to change that is to do my gratitude list, is to focus on my Savior, to focus on God, to realize that He's there, that I'm not going through this alone, that I am surrounded by God's love, and that He is here and helping me and encouraging me to work through these difficult times, to see His hand in my life, to know that things are getting taken care of, just they're not going to get taken care of overnight. And to remind me that I didn't get this messed up overnight. And that, yes, sometimes in the middle of the process, it kind of feels redundant. And but we learn from repetition. I learn from repetition. I need it repeated multiple times so I can remember it, so I don't have to, at some point, learn it so I don't have to keep repeating it. But also, it's that process. It's building up a foundation, line upon line. So every day that I do these gratitudes, every day that I write in my journal, it's building those muscles for me, and those spiritual muscles that will help me to deal with my emotions, so I can build my emotional muscles and my mental muscles and my social muscles and eventually my physical muscles and my financial muscles. They'll all get bigger and stronger and better. But it's going to take time, and I can only do things one day at a time, and I just need to learn how to stay in the present and stop trying to focus on the future, because I try to plan out the whole future so that I know exactly how everything's going to be, so there's no surprises, so there's no disappointments, so there's nothing to freak out about. Which, I mean, it's good to plan the future. It's good to kind of get an idea as to how long it's going to take to do some things. But it's also good to remember that it always takes me longer to do things than I think that it will. And it's also good to remember that things aren't always going to go the way that I plan. It's just something to give me goals or set me in a direction, like doing these YouTube videos. And the point is for me to focus on gratitude and on my writing and to promote my writing, hopefully. But it's still a process, and I don't know where I'm going to be at the end of this 100 days. I don't know if I'll actually get a book published at the end of 100 days, which would be awesome if I can. I don't know exactly how this process is going to work or where it's going to take me, but I know it's going to help improve my attitude, and it will help to redirect my focus, to put it on my higher power, to not make other people my higher powers, to not expect things from other people, to learn how to do things for myself that I'm capable of doing, to learn how to ask for help when I need it, and to just trust that things will work out the way that they're supposed to, when they're supposed to work out. And I don't have to know the outcome, which I always want to, and I never do. So there's that. And it's also a reminder that I can't change my past, and I can't avoid all of those feelings from the past. They still have to feel them, process them, and they're still going to come up at random times in my life, because things happen to me in the present that are triggers, that trigger memories from the past. And then I have to process those all over again. And the more times I process, I mean, the less effect I think it has for the future. But I still have all of those anxieties and those fears and self doubt, a lot of that. So it's a lot of reminding myself again that I do matter, that God does love me, that I am surrounded by His love, that I am capable of doing more than I give myself credit for. Sometimes I wish I hadn't had that thought in my head because now it just keeps coming out. So it's reminding me that I can do things even if I don't want to. And I've done a lot of things in the last 38 days that I didn't really want to or feel like doing because I made this commitment to make these videos and to write in my journal my gratitude lists. And it's helping me. I know that it's helping me, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful I can see the progress in things. But I still get frustrated on days like today when I just don't want to do anything, or my focus is obviously on pleasing other people because I'm still, a people pleaser. I want to make other people happy. I don't like it when people don't agree with me. I guess I feel like I'm being rejected, like I'm not good enough. And I need to stop thinking that way. And I realized today I don't have to respond to something if I disagree with it. I can just, do the best I can, love other people for who they are, accept them for who they are, and hope that they'll love me and accept me for who I am. And even if they don't, I can't control that. And it also occurred to me that like what they're doing, they're not doing it because of me. And I'm not doing what I'm doing because of them. So it's not about me. Their issues or their frustrations or whatever that they're taking out on me is not about me. And what I'm doing to take care of myself is not about them or about someone else. It's about taking care of myself. It's about being at peace with myself and with God, and knowing that I'm doing the best that I can and I'm going in a direction that feels right and healthy for me. And not everyone is going to agree with that. And there's going to be some backlash. There's going to be some people that disagree. But I don't have to take it personally. I don't have to let it send me spiraling back into my depression and just be discouraged. So I'm trying not to let it do that. But it's hard because that is my default setting. That is what I automatically go back to. And I'm trying to turn off the automatic pilot in my brain to rewrite my default settings to not do that when things don't go the way that I want them to. And it's hard to let go of what I want or wanted and be willing to accept what I have and what I can have in the future. But I think it's impossible to accept what I have if I'm not letting go of what I didn't have or didn't get that I wanted or that didn't work out. So I need to learn how to let go of those things. And that too, like everything else, is a process. And I don't like the process. I really don't like the process. I wish there was some way I could just, this is the beginning, this is what I need to do, and then this is the end, and we're all through all that messy, emotional, crazy, up and down change thing, and then I'm just all better magically. I want that magic wand that fixes everything, but there isn't one, and I'm not ever going to find one of those, but I can focus on what I have, and I can focus on what I'm grateful for, and I can choose to do the work that's required to make the changes. It's just a lot of work, and right now all of that work just feels very overwhelming. And I know I'm capable of doing it with God's help, and it's just me learning to trust God and me being willing to put in the time and effort to do it and to know that I'm worth it. I need to remember that I'm worth it and that I can do this and that God will help me do it if it's what I need and what I want. I think He'll help me with what I want, as long as what I want is in tune or aligned with what He wants or with what's good for me, because I don't think God's ever going to help me get something that's not good for me. He won't stop me if I choose to do things that aren't good for me, because He allows me my free agency, which I'm grateful for as well. But He's always going to remind me that there's a better choice. And I'm grateful to be reminded that I have choices, especially choices about my attitude and my actions and reactions, and that I don't always have to react. I don't always have to respond. I can just smile and be grateful and focus on other things, or just choose not to engage in conversations with people that have differing views, or at least not engage in those particular topics because it's not worth the arguments or the problems that it may cause. And it doesn't make anybody feel better by doing that. So I need to try to remember that, and I need to try to remember not to take other people's comments or suggestions personally, and not feel like I have to change everything for everyone else. Because again, if I send my book out to 10 people and they all come back with 10 different ideas, eventually I'm going to have the same book written in 10 different ways to please 10 different people. And then who knows which one of those versions the public's going to like on top of all of that. And then I won't even know if it's still my book or not. So in the end, it's going to end up being what I like and what I hope other people will like. I am willing to take suggestions from other people to make it better or to make it the best that I can. But I do like a saying I learned in a 12-step program, and that is take what you like and leave the rest. Because I can't fix or change everything to please everybody. But if there's no spelling, grammar errors, it's edited, the story is told, the cover looks awesome, the book will sell, right? But it won't sell to everybody because not everybody likes what I'm writing. Not everybody will be interested in that, and not everybody will agree with me. And that's okay. And I have to remember that that's okay. And it's not about the praise or the acclamation that I will get or the affirmation from other people that I did this. It's about me feeling like I actually accomplished something good. And yes, I want it to be good enough that other people will read it, that other people can benefit from it, or at least, get a couple of hours of enjoyment out of reading my book. But it doesn't mean that I have to write it solely for someone else, because I'm attached to my characters, I'm attached to my story. So, and I have a certain way of telling a story, and I can't really change who I am, because otherwise the story, if I change how I tell the story, then it won't be the same story. It won't be my story anymore. And it's the same with myself. If I try to change myself to please someone else, then I won't be who I am anymore. And then I will be lost and not know who I am. And then I won't be happy. And then the other person still won't be happy because I probably won't get it right. And that is one of those things that I have to keep learning. One of these days, I hope it will sink in permanently. I think it's starting to sink in, and I think that's been my frustration, is feeling like there's people that are still trying to convince me to be a people pleaser or to change things or to do things the way that they want. And I don't want to. And I'm grateful to know that I don't have to, that I can be me, that I've lost myself enough times and enough relationships that I'm in the process of rediscovering who I am, rediscovering what I like, rediscovering how I do things. And I know I don't do things perfectly, and I know that I make mistakes that can be corrected or fixed, but I also know that there's more than one way to do things, and just because my way is different from someone else's doesn't mean that my way is wrong. And so I'm trying to keep an open mind about those things without losing who I am again, and allowing myself the creative freedom to do things the way that I want to do them, and finding a way to write to readers so that it's comprehensible, that they understand the story that I'm telling, but using the voice or the talents the way that I write to tell the story. And that's what's important to me, and not rewriting the entire story to fit one or two people's comments. And so yes, I know I will have changes I will need to make, assuming I eventually get actual responses back from my beta readers. I don't remember when I sent them out to them, so I might have to start asking them to see where they're at or when they can give me some feedback. And in the meantime, I need to try to figure out the feedback I've got on the first chapter of my next book and figure out how to finish that chapter and move forward through the rest of the story. Because trying to just reintroduce everything that I did in the book that I just finished, and it's like I don't want to reintroduce it. I just want to maybe recap it, or maybe I need to stop trying to recap or whatever and just be like, okay, we're just going to jump into the story now. And maybe that would be better. But I'm grateful that I can have new ideas. I'm grateful that I can continue to write and continue to work. And I'm grateful that I can continue to make these YouTube videos. And I'm grateful for God and His love and helping to remind me that I can do this and that it will be okay. It's just not gonna, be the way that I want it to be. But it'll work out one way or the other. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for those that are watching. And hopefully this is helpful to you. And if nothing else, at least you know what I'm going through. So I hope you have a great day full of gratitude. And if you like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Thank you.